everybody being here. We, to start the meeting, we're going to determine a quorum, please.
Director Foss?
Present.
Director Lau-Lancaster?
Present.
Director Maury?
Here.
Director Thomas?
Here.
Director Walker?
Here.
Director Wall?
Here.
President Buckles?
Here. Motion carries. We need to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Britt, second by Melissa. Present the agenda. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to open a public hearing here in a few minutes, so we need to make sure anybody that wants to speak will register and sign in, if they would, please. And just to keep in mind, the main objective of this public hearing is to talk about the tax levy rate. A majority of folks have received this letter. Kind of a confusion out on the street, and a confusion to all taxpayers is our tax levy rate is a number that we set around our budget. However, the state sets a rollback number. So when you pay your property taxes, 100% of your property taxes are not taxable. So basically what they do is they've rolled it back from 56% down to 47%, I believe it is, right, John?
54% last year, down to 46% this year.
Down to 46%.
Yep, in round numbers.
So what that means is the governor, the legislators have made a decision that your property taxes can only increase by so much. A lot of folks in the community feel that since our property values have increased, our taxations have increased, that we're going to get more tax dollars. But as you see on page 2 on the back side of that is it's actually lowering the amount that you possibly could be paying. We don't know that exactly. There's a lot of variables involved, and we don't have a clear picture of that yet, but we have to set our tax rate accordingly per our budget, per our SSA, with the state, etc. So with that said, the public hearing is open at this point. Has anybody registered to speak? And always keep in mind that all comments at the public hearing are held to 3 minutes, and all comments, we cannot respond to you at this point because it is a public hearing. So Roger Hatcher, if you'd introduce yourself, please.
Okay, I'm Roger Hatcher. I live on 10th Street, or just off of 10th Street here, very close. And I've been here for more than 30 years in this district, so, and my daughter graduated from here. But at any rate, I guess my comments and concerns would be with this is what we received, of course, doesn't explain this very well. I mean, what you did was far more than what was explained to us already. And I think it would be good, certainly for the future, to give definitions of terms to go along with these things. You know, like, okay, current property tax and proposed property tax, it's like, okay, well, that could mean a lot of different things. Either one of those could. And, you know, the bottom line is, what does it do to me? You know, or how does it affect us? And I guess also, you know, again, on a more, I guess, general way of thinking about it, not necessarily just this one, but it would be good to know, well, and again, you've helped with that, but to know, okay, why is this happening? What is being proposed, and why is it happening? Which again, you've done something for us there tonight. But and I guess another thing I would say is that what deadlines are there, you know, for these decisions being made? I mean, with respect to you know, the state has not come through yet, for what I understand, but are they gonna come through in such a time that you could really get a more solid picture of this before you actually have to act on it? That would be a question that I have. And are those kinds of things being considered, okay? Because after all, I mean, I'm sure a number of the other people here are retired, so we're not out there making a paycheck every week, you know, like we were in the previous life. And therefore, you know, okay, you can raise your rates, but I don't get to raise mine, you know, I get what I get, right? So I can't, you know, say, well, I'm gonna demand more where I'm working now. But at any rate, those are the concerns that I have. And then the other thing I would ask is more publicly available information about this. Because I mean, I did some research, and it's like, you know, I couldn't even find this meeting out on the internet, for instance. It didn't seem to be there. And then also, when is there going to be a two-way, or is there going to be a two-way meeting on this where, you know, the proposition, you know, the final numbers are out there, and then is there going to be a meeting for two-way discussion? So, thank you.
Thank you. I think I would like to make a comment in general, and you're exactly right. You know, we don't know what our funding's going to be from the state yet. And we had a deadline to set our preliminary budget. And help me out, March 15th?
So we had to set our maximum tax rate, which is what's in this document. That had to be into the county auditor by March 15th. So that was for all cities, all counties, and all school districts had to have that to the county auditor by March 15th.
So this sheet, the numbers on the back and this sheet, we set our tax rate, but this was put out by the county, et cetera. So just to address that. I mean, I don't want to get into a dialogue on that, but I just wanted to make that quick comment because you. Okay, next person, Jerry.
Jerry Vishard, yeah, I live in Marion, Linn-Mar School District. I probably have more questions than I do comments. First comment I would like to make, and I know it's probably not your fault, is I received the information Saturday morning, and boom, we're having a meeting Monday night. And looking around, it tears me up to see the attendance, because anyone I talk to in Marion, in Linn-Mar School District, they got one major big bitch, and that is property tax. I mean, it cuts into everything. And if your proposed tax rate goes through, just for the school, my taxes that I'll pay for your next fiscal year will increase $300, and that's just for the Linn-Mar School District, because my valuation went up 25%. The rollback decreased, but it doesn't cut into the 25% all that much. So that's what I'm going to have to pay, because I went off and figured my taxable rate through the rollback and, you know, everything per thousand. So I hope you consider that. The other thing that is concerned, well, I see you're building another building, and you've been doing that for quite some time. And you probably did that, started it at least prior to or about the same time as what the state legislature was meeting last year. And you would have to live under a rock not to know that the state legislature was going to do something with property tax. And I was hoping they'd do something again this year, but they didn't, and that's shame on them. Area that I live in, if you look out across, I'd say 80 acres east of me, which is still in the city of Marion, I'll bet there's 150 new condominiums out there. And if there are 10% kids that live in, school-age kids that live in those condominiums, I'd be surprised. So to me, that's cash cow for the school board, because there's no kids coming to be educated out of that area. There's hotels being built, but maybe that's not in the Linn-Mar school district. And there's care centers that are being built.
Excuse me,
Those
Jerry.
people aren't,
Your 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
sorry I don't get much more, but if you want to know what else I'd say, why, let me know, I'll be here. If you're truly interested. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry?
Carolyn?
Hello, Geraldine Jones, resident and proud taxpayer. Not really, after seeing the rates and everything that came through. So I just think that it's not fair for the community to not have clarification on why we're spending this money where we're spending it. As a parent who's tried to seek answers dating back to when we had our very first meeting here, I've only received one response from the district. I've tried multiple times. I've met with Barry, the first board president, I should say, and I actually give him a pat on the back for this, but the actual first board president to meet with me and have a genuine discussion, and I felt like we made some headway on that. And I got very valid answers from that. But to only have one response or one email that came back from me when I was asking some clarification, it just wasn't sufficient enough. And I know, like, when I ask questions and when I email on certain things and you respond with either go watch the school board meeting or you reply with stuff that is like, okay, for example, when you say that your maintenance and operations budget is going to be $1.2 million is what you budget for maintenance. And if you can clarify these numbers, maybe just
We're having a public hearing
on the tax dollars?
about the tax rate. That's what we're discussing here tonight.
Okay.
We're not talking budget. We're not talking about any other numbers. We're strictly talking about the tax rate.
Okay, so is
That's
your,
been advertised now for, on the website, it's been advertised as this. So if you
is your
don't mind,
budget based on tax dollars?
we need to stick to the tax rate
Okay.
public hearing, if you don't mind, Geraldine. Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, absolutely. So the tax rate itself is based on your per pupil funding, correct? Correct. So your per pupil funding is your what you base your budget off of, correct? Correct. So what I'm asking for is clarification on why we're asking for $10 million from the SAVE fund that we get, right? Which,
Well, I'm going to tell you again, that's not part of this discussion. This
How
is a
is that not
public
correlated?
hearing. It's a public hearing on the tax rate that we all received at our homes on Saturday.
correct.
And we talk about what our levy's going to be and what we're raising that to. That's all hinges around what our future budget's going to be. We can't get into save dollars. We're not going to get into all of those discussions.
Okay,
So do me a favor, keep on track.
Okay, so the reason we are raising the tax levy is because of the ask of the increase of Pebble, correct? Okay, so if we're increasing these funds and asking for these additional tax dollars, why are we asking for more Pebble funds when we are, when we can use the same thing from those SAVE funds? I just think that maybe even clarifying the difference to our taxpayers and why we're doing this is something that we should be doing. So I'm going to conclude with that and just ask that we, be more clarification for the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Had a late walk-in. Randy Walker would like to speak.
Thank you for having this meeting. I am a little bit fuzzy on some of the tax increases we've experienced. You guys are estimating taxes on unsubstantiated values of our homes. I think homes are selling slowly. I think we need to reconsider some of the rate increases we've had and the reason we're having them. One of my questions, and maybe it's out of order, and I apologize, I came in late, and I'm just the average guy on the street living on a fixed income. Groceries are up between 25 and 30%. Utilities are up 30%. Gas prices are up 30%. My increase this year is 3.2%. What's yours? What's your increase this year? That's a question for the board. Hello? I'm just making comments. I could be sitting at home enjoying my couch and talking to the wall. Why are we having a meeting?
We're having a public hearing, sir. And
Okay,
at a
well,
public
why are
hearing,
I'm the public. Do
we're
I deserve an
hearing
answer?
comments.
Do I deserve an answer? I'm the public. I pay your salary. Do I deserve an answer?
That's kind of funny, sir. I don't get paid a salary. I'm a volunteer here, sir.
Well, bless you for your
I
service.
pay taxes like you do, right here.
Bless you for your service. You ought to be asking some really tough questions. And has your cost of living gone up?
Well, this discussion's over. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I don't appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the public hearing is closed at this point. Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn session at 5:18 PM.
Motion by Melissa, seconded by Justin to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.